Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must, therefore, be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves. Politics have no relation to morals. The wise man does at once what the fool does finally. A prince must be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves. Men are so simple of mind and so much dominated by their immediate needs that a deceitful man will always find plenty who are ready to be deceived. The first and greatest punishment of the sinner is the conscience of sin. The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. It is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver. A wise ruler ought never to keep faith when by doing so it would be against his interests. The more sand has escaped from the hourglass of our life, the clearer we should see through it. A prince must not worry about the reproach of cruelty when it is a matter of keeping his subjects united and loyal. The ends justify the means. One who adapts his policy to the times prospers, and likewise one who changes his tactics in war. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see but few can feel. Never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception. The injury that is to be done to a man ought to be of such a kind that one does not stand in fear of revenge. The prince must have no other objective, no other thought, nor take up any profession but that of war, its methods, and its discipline. The first opinion that is formed of a ruler's intelligence is based on the quality of the men he has around him. He who seeks to deceive will always find someone who will allow himself to be deceived. War is just when it is necessary. Arms are permissible when there is no hope except in them. It is much more secure to be feared than to be loved. The prince who relies upon their words, without having otherwise provided for his security, is ruined. He who neglects what is done for what ought to be done, sooner effects his ruin than his preservation. Princes must avoid as much as they can being disarmed and hated by the people. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. There is no other way to guard yourself against flattery than by making men understand that telling you the truth will not offend you. Never was anything great achieved without danger. Men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. The innovator has for enemies all those who have done well under the old conditions, and lukewarm defenders and those who may do well under the new. The prince must live with his subjects, neither too often, nor too seldom, nor at any odd times. Men ought either to be well treated or crushed because they can avenge themselves of lighter injuries, of more serious ones, they cannot. Men are so simple, and yield so readily to the desires of the moment, that he who will trick will always find another who will suffer himself to be tricked. There is nothing more difficult to carry out, nor more doubtful of success, nor more dangerous to handle than to initiate a new order of things. The chief foundations of all states are good laws and good arms. The strength of all states and kingdoms depends on the well-being of the common people. Men are so simple and so much creatures of circumstance that the deceiver will always find someone ready to be deceived. It is better to be impetuous than cautious, for fortune is a woman, and if you wish to keep her under, you must beat and ill-use her. Whosoever desires constant success must change his conduct with the times. The prince should have no other aim or thought, nor select anything else for his study, than war and its rules and discipline. Men are always wicked at bottom unless they are made good by some compulsion. A prince never lacks legitimate reasons to break his promise. The choice of enemies is often more important than the choice of friends. A wise prince should never keep his word when it would go against his interests. A prince must be a great simulator and dissimulator. It is better to act and repent than not to act and repent.